Mein Name ist Jan Hase. I'm founder and CEO of Wunderflats. And I think we will talk about that a bit more in a second.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome. So, what is Wunderflats?
Wunderflats is an online marketplace for rentals, residential rentals to be exact. We help expats find the first apartment if they move abroad. Currently operating in Germany, Austria, and France, and since 2 weeks ago also in Belgium, in Brussels to be exact. So yeah, and we have private landlords to rent their apartments and invest into real estate like it's an ETF basically. That's how it should feel.
Oh, wow. Okay. Definitely want to dig into that. So tell me how you found yourself in this industry.
So I have a computer science background, studied computer science economics and worked as a developer. And after a job as an engineer in an old German Mittelstands company, I switched to being a tech consultant. And this is where I found it very hard to find apartments abroad. So I only took gigs in Berlin. I'm originally from Berlin, but I wanted to actually be a consultant to take gigs internationally, or at least in other cities in Germany. But then it was so hard to find something for 3 months or 6 months, that I always only took gigs in Berlin. So this is how I got in touch with the problem. But it took me several years and also founding a company and selling it before I joined Immobilien Scout in their accelerator program or incubator program. And this is where I met my two awesome co-founders, and we started working on some real estate related products. And this is when we all came up with the same or like a similar issue from our past, was finding temporary accommodation, like from the perspective of a student going international, or me as a consultant going somewhere for a temporary job, or one of my co-founders moved from Osnabrück to Berlin and also needed something, a first place to stay. That's how we got started.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice. So you were personally in need of this service, and your two co-founders were they consultants as well?
No, like one was like they both weren't consultants. One they both had business backgrounds, but both of them did an international exchange semester, in one in England, Hull or something, and the other one I don't remember. And they also had the issue to find something temporarily. Yeah, which like you don't have anywhere in the world a platform that enables you to rent an apartment for 3 months with your phone. So it doesn't exist. So that's what we're working towards.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Do your three, it's you and two other co-founders.
Yes.
Do you each have like a specific role or focus?
So one co-founder left so in the beginning of Wunderflats, we focused on that student use case to help international students when they switch from one place. So the idea was someone from New York is going to Berlin, someone from Berlin to Madrid, and someone from Madrid to New York, and they can basically switch places. That's how we started. We also had names like Swap Unity in mind before it became Wunderflats. But it didn't work, so it was the wrong customer group to start with, because students usually spend time to save on money. And we realized that renting temporary homes and fully furnished apartments is actually costing a little bit more and saves you time. So it wasn't the right target group. And after 6 months, we pivoted from students to young professionals. And this is where our third co-founder left. And now Arkady and me are still running it for almost 11 years now.
Wow. What's the secret to maintaining a great co-founder relationship?
For us, it's our tea time. So since the beginning, once per week, we have an evening together. It's like date night with our girlfriends, but just for the founder part. And where we go somewhere and we have a tea, and we talk about stuff that needs to get out of the system, like stuff around the business and obvious stuff that you need to talk about when you think. And then after a few hours, the deep stuff comes up that only like founders know when you're in that situation, like the pressure that you're not enough for anyone, the company needs more time, girlfriend needs more time, children need more time, friends need more time, and you're in between, and you cannot be enough for anyone. Or also the pressure during funding rounds, when like you have back then in the beginning like a few employees, but now hundreds of employees that are like depending on their salaries, and if you fuck it up, then they also lose the job. So there's so many special things, and also giving feedback to each other is also happening in the tea times, which is so essential to grow as a company, especially for more than 10 years, right? So our job like redefines almost every half a year or every year at least. It's so valuable to get the direct feedback from Arcadi on this, and also other way around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any strategies for sharing feedback without offending or raising a co-founder's defenses?
Yeah, so with employees, I have that, but with Arcadi, we are like straight, honest, in your face. Like it's really people from the outside. When they hear us giving feedback to each other, they're always shocked how direct we are. We're also good friends, so we also do like stuff like on the weekends together from time to time, and then the friends of friends basically see that behavior, and they're sometimes shocked. And even my wife is like sometimes jealous that we are so direct and it doesn't hurt each other. Because if I would give my wife feedback like this, I would be living on the streets the same day.
That's amazing. Awesome. So tell me about how you got traction. How did you get momentum? How did you grow this thing?
Yeah. So when we started with students, we were growing very, very fast. That didn't do any revenue. So we had partner universities. We were operating within 6 months in Germany and Spain in different cities. And then when we switched to young professionals, we removed everything from the platform and started from scratch. So what we did back then is we reached out to landlords that we found online, like institutional landlords, private landlords, and got the first landlords on board in Berlin. So we had a very strong city focus only in Berlin for the first 4 years. So from 2014 until 2018. Did everything manually. So we had that mantra that since the product doesn't exist, we really want to understand what the customers want, why they choose it. We talked to every tenant in the beginning and learned about why they need that service and so on before we automated the product and started to do marketing. I think we hired the first marketing person after 3 years or something. So so this is what we did. We had a lot of people doing that manual work while we were coding in the background and establishing marketing processes. And what actually made us scale and is still the biggest channel for us today is word of mouth. So we try to deliver the best housing experience you can have, and housing sucks mostly. If you rent an apartment anywhere in the world, you don't know the legal system. There is like viewings and special documents you cannot have if you move somewhere. So it really sucks everywhere. Getting that right for the first customers and for also the customers we have today is still our biggest growth driver. So just one example. And in the beginning, first year, we wanted every customer we have to talk about Wunderflats at their dinner table, so that they had such an amazing experience that landlords or tenants want to share that with their friends or with their family in the evening. So we picked up the first tenants from the airport by car as founders, for example. So these were some things that we did, and then it spread. Like expats usually know expats that also have housing need, and yeah, as I said, it's still the biggest driver for us today.
Mm-hmm. Do you still focus on ways to deliver? I mean, it sounds like you do. Whoa, maybe a better question is like, what are the ways currently that you focus on delivering the best housing experience possible?
So we automated a lot of things in like renting apartments for landlords and tenants, from verifying that the apartment exists to verifying that the tenant can actually afford the place, and other things. But we always keep a human touch in the process. So we make sure that if you want to reach someone, you can always reach someone. That's something that we focus on. But also if you're in the process and everything goes smooth, we still talk to you. So we take the time and actually have someone talk to you. And that sounds very simple, but it makes a huge difference because most of our landlords, more than 95%, are private landlords that have 1 or 2 apartments. So the apartment that they are renting is their biggest investment and their biggest asset, and it's very, very important to them. And on Wunderflats, you only get to know the tenant after you accepted that the tenant will rent your apartment after signing the rental contract. So they need to trust us a lot, and therefore we keep in the loop, and talking to a real human is actually creating a lot of trust, and it's really important. And same on the tenant side. If someone from India moves to Berlin to work for a delivery hero as an engineer, they don't have the time to really play, so they also need to trust us that the place exists and that we are there to help if something goes wrong. And therefore, and this is, we build a lot of features in the platform that make it transparent and create that trust, but we're also always there as a human to help people.
Awesome. Man, so many directions I can go. So when me and my wife first moved here from Los Angeles to Barcelona, you can't sign a long-term lease without a visa, and you can't get a visa until you have an apartment.
Yeah.
It's kind of a catch-22 situation. So we ended up staying at something maybe similar to Wunderflats. Yukio, are you familiar with Yukio?
Yeah, we know them.
Yeah. Are you guys similar to Yukio, or are they like a competitor? Or how do you do this?
I think Ukio is an operator. If I remember correctly, they rent apartments and they operate them. So they do the key handovers and everything. So they would be a customer of ours. We don't operate in Barcelona yet. So I don't think, or I'm not sure if we work with Ukio, but there's a lot of these operators around, also Blueground and others, that do the hyper local work that we as a platform can do. So we won't do key handovers, or we won't do cleanings, or on Wunderflats you also wouldn't do key handover protocols. You have a special industry for that, operators that handle all that work. But from the target group, it's the same thing. So also what you described in Barcelona, you have that everywhere around the world. In Berlin, or in Germany, if you want to rent a long-term apartment, you need Schufa. So it's a private credit scoring company. And you can only have Schufa if you have a German bank account, and you can only have a German bank account if you have a German address. So as an expat, you cannot move to Germany unless you rent something like a temporary place to stay first, to get your address, and then do the thing. In France, it's even by law. It's there you need to show an energy certificate, not energy certificate, an energy bill or an internet bill by law to the agent, so that they can give you an apartment, which you cannot have if you come from, if you haven't never lived in France. So France did a specific law for expats in 2018 that helps with that situation, but other countries are way behind on that.
Got it. Awesome. And you mentioned something about investors being able to get involved, similar to like an ETF. Can you expand on what you meant by that?
Yeah, so like a lot of people, when they buy their first apartment, they think that buying the first apartment is the hard part, but actually renting it is also very complex, right? So you have a lot of legal things that you need to take care of. There's rental breaks, rental caps, there's specific laws. In Spain, I think you have 3 different rental laws, like how to rent an apartment. In France, even it's 5. In Germany, we only have 1, but there's different nuances in every city, so the cities can change the rental law. It's really insane. and taking that load off your shoulder, for example, as a landlord, helps you a lot. So if you know there's a standardized contract that Wunderflats provides you, and for every type of rental, like sometimes it depends on why the tenant is renting, sometimes it depends on how long the tenant is renting, sometimes it depends on where your apartment is located. And we, for example, help you always find the right contract, and we have a standard for it. So that's one thing that we do. And another thing is that if you rent your apartment, you need to verify tenants, you need to list your place somewhere, so and then interview tenants and so on. And we automated that. So if you list your apartment with Wunderflats, it's always online, but only for the time where it's empty. And tenants can request it in advance, and we do all the verification of the tenant. We do the credit scoring, an internal one, so it doesn't matter if they already lived in the country or not. We have our own system which works so that you don't need to take care of it. You still have to accept and decline the tenants in the end, but we're also working on automating that for you, that you can decide, for example, I want to have 1 or 2 days in between tenants to clean the apartment or to check in on it. So we also want to build in like the features that you can set rules on how to rent or what to accept, what to decline, so that it's even faster. And also for the tenants, if a tenant sees an apartment on Wunderflats and wants to rent it, then they should be able to rent it, right? And that sounds simple, but it's not. Like a lot of times on classifieds, if you request an apartment, you're one of thousands. And if you're lucky, you get invited to a viewing where you're one of hundreds viewing that apartment. So your chances are near zero to actually get it. And we try to optimize the process in between and the matching so that tenants can also, if they see an apartment that they want and they really want it, that they can actually also can have it, to make sure that we only match people that also match together and not just match everyone. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No disappointment.
Yes, that's the goal. Happy
That's awesome.
customers.
Wow. All right. This is incredible. You guys have put a ton of thoughts and effort into this, and it sounds like you just getting warmed up. We are coming towards the end of our time together. I have one final question for you. It is an open-ended question. You can answer it big, small, long, short, personally, business. You can answer it multiple ways. It is your choice. But I am ever fascinated with the answer. And the question, the name of the show as well. The question is, what are you working towards?
So yeah, I'm working towards a world where everyone can live and work anywhere. That's what drives everyone also at Wunderflats. So we believe that people should, like, there's so many things that drive you somewhere. It's like studying at the best university for your subject, or working for that specific employee, or following your love and that lives on the other side of the planet. And there's so many good reasons to move. But then when you actually are in the situation, you hit a wall where it's very hard to actually move. A lot of friction, we talked about it. And we want to build the infrastructure so that people anywhere in the world can live and work anywhere. And for that, we need to make it as easy as possible for landlords to rent their apartments, but also make it as easy as possible for tenants to rent and have a trusted place in the internet where both can get matched and transact together. And this is how we try to fulfill that vision. And that's like the business part. But then there's also people that are forced to move, for example, in times of war or in a natural disaster. So they don't have that good, like the good starting point of why they move somewhere. They are forced out of their home, which is usually one of the most horrible situations in your life. And there again, it's really important that there's an infrastructure around the globe where you can find something temporarily and that you can trust and that you can rent it fast from. So we also, for example, when the war in Ukraine started, we duplicated our technology and built a platform for refugees to rent temporary homes. And we could help over 30,000 refugees moving to Germany with that platform. And also the 70% of the landlords offered their apartments for free in that situation. So it was also incredible how sometimes people have that image of landlords that they are just money-making machines, but it's real humans, and we should never forget this. In that situation, they opened the doors and welcomed people they don't know and people in need, which is awesome. And this is, it's easy to get out of bed for the last 11 years and working on these two things. So it really, or that one thing actually.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. I didn't know that. Good on you guys, man. That's amazing. Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. Where can my audience find out more about you and Wunderflats?
On wunderflats.com, you can find apartments, Germany, Austria, France, Belgium right now. We're looking to expand to more countries, actually to 5 more countries next year. So that's something. And otherwise, I'm active on LinkedIn. I'm not so active on X or other channels, but you can find me on LinkedIn. You can write me an email, jan@wunderflats.com.
Awesome. We will link all that in the show notes. Jan, thank you so much for taking the time, man. This was a real pleasure. You guys are, man, you are locked in. I love it.
Thank you, Chris, for doing that interview and what you do.
Yeah, it's great. All right, and to all our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in, and keep on growing out there, everybody. See ya.